The first two issues of Imperium are great value. It's only £8 for the pair, and that includes minis, dice, rulers, and a whole bunch of other stuff. You also get a little leaflet detailing the setting, you get a poster, you get a double-sided gaming board, and you get a little bag of tools to help you build your minis. It looks like we'll be fighting over the Ramesses system throughout 80 issues. Here's a little tip: if a system is named even loosely after a pharaoh, probably best to just leave it alone. There are Necrons there. There are always Necrons there. Just leave them to it. We all know there's natural resources there. Go to another planet and find them there. It's not worth the hassle. Just leave and have an easy life. But we know you won't. It exists within the Pariah Nexus, and the Ultramarines of Task Force 15 have just arrived on the planet of Megaria to secure the Prometheum refineries before a joint task force of sisters, AdMech, and more Space Marines arrive. The photography in this little booklet is, as always, superb, but it is lifted wholesale from Indomitus. You can't really blame GW for doing this, and at least they've tried to provide a new setting to fight across. There's a big poster too, yet again straight from Indomitus. I am of an age where I'll only put something on my wall if it's pristine, maybe even on a canvas. When I was younger I wouldn't care about the fold lines, and that thing would be on the wall faster than a naughty handmaid. Anyway, let's get into issue 1. The contents are a Primaris Lieutenant, Necron Royal Warden, 6 dice and a range ruler. Straight away we're greeted with the Primaris Lieutenant profile, all very informative. Turn the page however and we've got what is probably my favourite addition so far, and that is the battle record. You can roll a d6 to give him a name and a title, then you can name his weapons in the same way. There's a space for writing blessings for purity seals and recording his heroic deeds in battle. This adds more of a connection to the character and is a really nice touch. Mine is Felicius Andranis, Lord of Vespator, and he's carrying the Neo-Volkite pistol Traitor's End and the sword Ultramar's Fury. His storm shield is the fabled Sanctus Bulwark. Over the page and we've got the Royal Warden along with his own battle record with different bits to write down. This Xenos scum is called Zopkan, presumably the brother of Tinkan, and his epithets are Oppressor of the Weak and Destroyer of Vermin. So Skaven, watch out. Wait, that's the wrong system. Because Necrons are old and quirky, he's developed a few strange habits over the years. He likes to collect trophies from his enemies and regularly challenges enemy commanders to duels whether he can win it or not. His weapon is named the Solar Doom, which is quite cool. There are also boxes for great deeds, nefarious plans, and a standard record of battle to take note of the good and the bad. This can be as RPGA as you want. The example given of a great deed is reduced Lieutenant Calcius of the Ultramarines to atoms, so you get the picture. I won't show the whole magazine because if you do choose to buy it, you should be able to enjoy it yourself without me spoiling it first. There's the usual fluff about the Space Marines, a bit about the Imperium and what kind of state it's in, and a tiny wee bit about the Necrons. Next, there are instructions on how to build the two included minis, the Space Marine Lieutenant and the Necron Royal Warden. They're push fit, but if you're confident enough, snip the little posts off and glue it for a much more snug fit. There's nothing about cleaning up mould lines, but you should really do that too. There's a little mould line scraper included in the bag of tools. Well, part of a mould line scraper, it doesn't have the handle. There's the proper one and there's the one you get in the magazine. Even still, if you run it down the mould lines, they should come away quite easily. You also get sprue clippers and glue, so you should be all set to build all your minis. The How to Paint section in issue 1 describes the Citadel paint system, but it doesn't yet tell us to put any paint on minis. The battle tutorial in issue 1 shows how to read a profile, move, shoot, save, and allocate wounds by playing out a fight between the Royal Warden and the Lieutenant. It also teaches a bit about objectives. If the Royal Warden ends a turn touching the objective marker, then on a roll of a 5 or more, the game ends and the Necrons win. On any other roll, the node is destroyed and the Necron needs to move to another one to try again next turn. It's pretty cool for such little equipment included in the magazine. In my experience from Mortal Realms, this will take about 5 minutes to complete, but it is a good grounding in the rules. That was quite a lot for issue 1, so we'll see what issue 2 includes. It opens with a description of Necron warriors and, interestingly, includes a battle record sheet for the 3 included in the magazine. It looks like one will be included for every unit and not just the characters, which is absolutely great. That's a very nice touch. There's more fluff about the Zarikan dynasty and the Ultramarines, but as before, I'll let you read up on that yourself. I am finding myself really wishing that they had picked a different chapter to front this up, because I'm already bored with looking at the Ultramarines. Even the Tome Keepers would have been a welcome change, but a brand new chapter would have been amazing. Like, they promoted Silver Templars in Conquest, and they became really popular off the back of it. On to build instructions for the 3 Necron warriors included, and there are still no tips on cleaning the minis after clipping them off the sprue. In the how to paint section, we finally get to commit heresy. I mean, paint straight onto bare plastic. I would never do this. Out of curiosity, I'll sacrifice a mini to follow the guide and see how it turns out, and I will also paint one that I've done my usual way, which would be an undercoat first, and we can compare the two. I actually hope I'm wrong about this, because it would really reduce the barrier to entry if you didn't need an undercoat and you could just put a base coat on instead. So here we go with the Necron without an undercoat. We've got Runelord Brass here. I'll give it a quick shake. Scoop some onto the palette. It says to thin it down a wee bit, so I shall do that, and we shall get painting. I don't believe it, it's actually covering a lot better than I thought it would. Right, you don't want to see me painting this whole thing, so I'll paint it all and then get back to you. So that's the first coat. I'm going to let it dry and then apply another one. Still looks quite patchy, but I'm trying to do this very quickly. It doesn't look as bad as I thought it would, but I guess the big test is whether it sticks to the model or not. Just for comparison, let's do the same thing with an undercoated model. This is undercoated with Mechanicus Standard Grey. This brush has started disintegrating already. I'll paint this off camera and then we can put it side by side. So that's a pair of them so far. This is the unprimed model and this is the primed model. I'd say the unprimed is actually a bit shinier. So we'll see. I'll just put a second coat on just now. I'll do the rest off camera again. So there they are side by side. The conclusive thing about this is this starter brush is absolutely trash. I've lost about 20 hairs from the tip already. Absolute garbage. The undercoated one is a wee bit more dull than the other one, and the one without any undercoat at all is very bright and shiny. I could probably get a more solid coat. That's only 2 coats. I could probably get a more solid one, but you're into the realms of wasting paint. I'm going to try to rub some paint off and see what happens. Oops, his arm came off instead. Maybe try handling him a wee bit. It's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. So there you have it. I'd say for the Necron metallics at least, painting directly onto the plastic might actually work. Who would have thought it? The scenario in issue 2 is called Escape Route. The Necrons are trying to awaken a plasma site and the Space Marine must stop them. No Royal Warden this time, just the warriors. There doesn't seem to be anything new to learn here, just a reinforcement of what we learned in issue 1. I know that in issue 3 we learn close combat, and in issue 4 we get all the minis together and fight the biggest battle yet. Also in the next issues we get Assault Intercessors, Scorpec Destroyers, Macragge Blue and Lead Belcher paints, so that's quite cool. Each issue will be $8.99 though, rather than the £8 for both of these issues put together. So my thoughts so far, everything is of course high quality. The photography, artwork, everything else is fantastic as you would expect from Games Workshop. What wasn't so great was seeing people get their issues from shops 2 weeks before I got mine in the mail. It looks like subscribers will always be a month in arrears compared to buying it individually in a shop, which is not the best thing. Subscribers should actually be given priority in this case, and they're just not. I'll be 4 weeks behind for issue 3, which means everyone that's bothered to get off their bum and go out and buy one at a shop will have reviewed them already and you'll have watched them instead. But in all seriousness, the subscription is the only way you can get the premium stuff, which is what I signed up for, so I can't go to a shop and buy the premium subscription. So I feel I'm getting the raw deal here. These first 2 issues are great value, so if you're still able to, go out and grab them. If you're in a country where Imperium hasn't started yet but is going to, prepare to grab them. I'd be interested to hear what you think of this review format for Imperium. Is it too long, too short? Is it in-depth enough? Is it not in-depth enough? If you enjoyed it, maybe you could chuck me a like, maybe even subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Cheers.